This young family had been living with a half-destroyed kitchen for 2 years. Today, we're rebuilding everything.
Welcome to the Granados project.
If you've had a water leak, you know how damaging it can really be. And if you haven't, lucky for you. Let me tell you this fun fact. Even just 1 inch of water in a home can cause up to $25,000 in damages, because water can travel inside walls, behind cabinets, under flooring, causing damage that isn't visible until it has already compromised the structure. This is what happened here, but we had no idea the extent of what was to come. Before we get started, I'm going to clean up, because my dad always said, a good job site is a clean job site. And he's right. I usually prefer to install the trim after I paint the walls, but originally, we thought we would paint the cabinets the same color as the trim. An issue arose when we got our paint that didn't allow that. We'll get to that later. Therefore, we installed trim first. But I kept having these large gaps in my miters. I didn't realize my issue to the very last piece, of course. When I nailed the final piece of trim on, I went back to check my saw and realized my mistake. I had my saw at 50 degrees the entire time instead of 45. That's the difference between this and this. Pretty substantial, right? I thought it was the walls being out of square, and I didn't think to check my saw till the end. So here's my trick to remedy my mistake. If you use caulk to fill nail holes or gaps, let me put you on this trick. Take some drywall patch. I prefer the pink stuff because it dries quite hard. Fill the holes with that. Some people say wood filler is better, but I think the drywall patch actually disappears better after you sand and paint. So use it or don't, but now you know. But honestly, it feels so wrong doing trim at the beginning of a project, but we finished it with the quarter round around the cabinets. The trim, it was easy enough, but little did I know I would lose years off my life due to this drywall. This was the longest section of the project, but dare I say, one of the most crucial. Have you ever noticed that water loves drywall and they create a disgusting little baby together called mold? It always seems that the drywall gets hit the worst. So of course, it all had to be ripped out and replaced. But I actually wasn't the one who ripped out and replaced it. I'll get to that story later, but I can say it's much easier to hang drywall than to finish it. We spent 3 days and 3 coats to get this to a smooth finish. The worst part, by far, is sanding. But for some reason, I love the feeling of the smooth walls right after I sand. This used to be a hole, and I don't know how it got there. I think a kid's head went through it or something. But anyways, I had to cut it back to the studs and square it off. Because if you've ever tried to repair a circle, you know that's extremely difficult. I use mesh tape because from personal experience, paper tape has made us mortal enemies. Air bubbles, anyone? If you know, you know. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I switched to mesh tape. It's been so good to me. It's somewhat sticky, so it sticks to the wall without a bed coat. I mean, I think it's called a bed coat anyways. And you can just put the mud right over it. But enough about tape. I do a solid first coat with a 6-inch knife. Then I came back to do coats 2 and 3 with a 12 and 16-inch knife. Of course, I do a light sand in between, and if you do it right, all you need is 3 coats for a patch. Yep, I said it. And I'm using 5-minute mud. That is quite ballsy because this stuff hardens up in 5 minutes. That's why it's called 5-minute mud. And it's supposed to be sanded in 15 or 20 minutes. So if you ain't quick with it, don't use this stuff. But I was able to get all these patches done in 1 day, which is really nice, and get it sanded down perfectly smooth. And the walls were fine, but you can hear by my grunts that the ceiling was a different story. So I got my buddies to do it for me. They're so great. Big applause for them. Their coat was a little thick though, so I'm going to have a heck of a time sanding. I really look forward to that. After a quick cleanup, we're ready for cabinet paint. We did this project completely free, which means we needed help covering the costs. Therefore, the search for sponsors began. I thought to myself, what are some of the main items I could get help with? I made this list: appliances, furniture, and paint. Luckily, we got 2 out of those 3. Now remember, I said originally I wanted to paint the trim the same color as the cabinets. Here's where we ran into a snag. Outside, the paint looked a nice light gray, which is exactly what we wanted. But when we brought it inside, it looked dark brown, or maybe like a taupe-ish, beige-ish, if I'm correct. This amazing company, Dixie Paint, provided this cabinet paint completely free of cost to support this family. We are so grateful for their donation, and they told us to choose any color we want. So I saw the homeowner had already started to paint the cabinets a light gray. So I went the safe route and chose one similar. But when I opened the tin, I was taken aback. I thought, let's just put it up and see how it dries. It might dry lighter. The issue is there's little to no natural light in this kitchen. It's so dark and the color is not really the best decision. At that moment, I decided we should keep the trim in baseboard white to brighten the space. Out here, it's crazy. It looks light gray. It's wild how paint changes so much based on the light that touches it. However, we didn't use a paint sprayer. That could be a huge mistake if you don't apply the paint carefully. Instead, we used foam rollers and the paint did the rest. This is a cabinet mineral paint, so it takes about 20 hours to fully cure, which allows it to dry flatter than other paints. If you're painting cabinets, trim, or even walls soon and want a long-lasting, high-quality paint, click the link in the description and check out Dixie. They donated to help this family, and we want to share the love back to them. And to be frank, they have so many soft, beautiful colors, you'll definitely want to see them. While I painted the cabinet doors, my buddies painted the cabinet boxes, and they did a great job. Not sarcastic. And it helps that the paint is so forgiving. Again, not sarcastic. But even if it were, they went slow and smooth, and the finish was perfect. Have you ever heard the saying, slow is smooth and smooth is fast? I think that's another quote from my dad, so boy did I listen. It was a little weird painting with all the stuff in the cabinets, but we didn't really have anywhere to put it, so we just kind of pushed the items to the back, and they were safe. Then the boys started questioning my strategy.
Paint them
if it's just
when
the
they're
front.
up.
Okay, because
The
this
front when they're up.
But then,
is the back's already painted.
but then we have to go around the hardware.
So they were fired. All jokes, but honestly, like what they were asking is a really good question. Anytime I hand paint cabinets, I take off the doors and only paint the back side. Then I reattach the hardware and paint the fronts while they're hanging on the cabinet box so the face can dry perfectly smooth. I find that if I paint the fronts by hand while they're off and lean them up to dry, they never get as smooth of a finish. So that's why I do that. If I were spraying, it'd be a completely different system, but I won't get into that.
They get like transmission issues, and then
And just huge thanks to Odoro for not only providing this kitchen faucet, but also the bathroom faucet. Extremely generous to provide for this family. And just check this out. Look how nice that looks. It's gonna look perfect in there.
Found out not only that there was a leaky water line behind the wall, but also the kitchen faucet was leaking and had been for quite a while. Therefore, we began our search for a new faucet, and that's when we found something that would change our lives forever.
But this one's clutch. Oh, this one's so freaking clutch, bro.
Easy access.
It's just like these plastic.
Sorry, not really, but Odoro changed the lives of these homeowners. They gave us a brand new faucet and soap dispenser to help bless this family. But hold on, I ain't never seen one like this. This faucet had something that will change dishwashing forever. We removed the old faucet and threw that thing away, and within 2 minutes we had the Odoro faucet installed. It's a very easy install for those who have never done it before. These are all brass, they have lifetime warranty, and they are extremely DIY. But after we installed it, I found out it had a very unique ability. It's called the fan mode. This pushes water out so fast, and I can already see the person who does dishwashing, me, loving this mode. All the grime would fly off the dishes. Anyways, huge thanks to Odoro for giving this family this faucet. And I do have an affiliate link with them. So, if you use the link in the description, you get 10% off your purchase, and 10% of the proceeds go to more materials for projects like this.
It's about to get real dusty in here, so we gotta cover everything up.
So remember, I was going to tell you why I didn't rip out and replace the old drywall? Well, finally, I'll let you in on that story. After the homeowners noticed that there was a leak in their home, they called insurance. And at first, the insurance company said every word the homeowners wanted to hear. You're covered. Relieved, they hired a contractor and began mitigation. The crew started demo, cutting out drywall, removing soaked insulation, pulling cabinets from the wall. The kitchen had to come apart all the way to the studs just to make the home safe again. For a short time, the Granados family lived in a construction zone with exposed framing. Exactly the place you want to raise 3 little boys, huh? But they held on to hope because insurance told them they would be taken care of. Then the call came. After demolition was already complete and the damage fully exposed, the insurance company reversed their decision. The claim was denied, no reimbursement, no repair, no coverage. Man, this story just makes me frustrated. The contractor couldn't continue work without payment and understandably had to step away from the project. And just like that, the work stopped. The Granados family wasn't even left with a damaged kitchen anymore. They were left with no kitchen at all. The contractor had fixed the leak, hung the new drywall, and the homeowner had to put up the cabinets with the contractor friend of his. That was it. They needed to get this space functional. Obviously, it's a kitchen, but it was like this for 2 years. So now I'm here to make it a fully functional and charming space. But can I say, this job turned out to be much more than just the kitchen. But smack dab in the middle of painting, I thought I should stop everything and show y'all a cool trick my cousin showed me.
All right, we're gonna try to fix this receptacle. It's way into the wall. The cover plate is not gonna cover this at all. I turned the breaker off and checked it already, but I'll just show you. We just checked the black wires right up there. I'm gonna show you a cool trick to getting these to flatten out a little better. We're probably going to need to use all 4, honestly. So you can basically take these tabs, bend them back and forth. These could be used as spacers. So then here's our receptacle. Alrighty. It's looking pretty good. In situations like this, you can either get a box extender, because there is still a little bit of give here on the bottom one. If I give it a little push, there's a little bit. I mean, it's good. And then when we put the cover plate on, it'll really, tighten it all up. But like that's not too bad right there.
So I don't really know if that made sense to you because it didn't even really make sense to me. All I'm trying to say is you can snap the tabs off the side of the receptacle, put them behind the screws between the receptacle and the outlet box, and it will level out your receptacle probably 1/4 inch max. This helps if you just need a little bit of space. Hope that helps.
While I got you here, if you're liking the video so far, would you please consider clicking the like button or subscribe button? It helps us out a ton to do more projects completely free of cost, just like this one.
Then the final thing for Lavo Odoro was to install the soap dispenser. Then we had a little party. And the final thing to do before the reveal was install the range hood. These can be extremely difficult or extremely easy, and luckily, in this case, it was easy. All I did was put it in place, put a few screws in, connect the wires that were already exposed. Yeah, these were quite dangerous because the breaker was on, and at any point, one of these kids could have touched the wires and went for a joyride. So I'm glad we made it safer for them, but we're not finished yet. We still have to show the homeowners what we've been up to in their kitchen for the past 4 weekends.
It's like honest reactions. She's gonna
I'm not here.
She's gonna get the shots. Don't worry about where you stand. Okay.
And yes, they've been living here. They've probably seen most of it. So I'm going to show them a few photos of the before so we can really get the full picture of the transformation.
Right, if you remember that, and then we had all like the seams and stuff.
That's pretty bad.
Which was good. What did the contractor do? The drywall?
That was all us. Yeah.
He did a coat, but it looks like honestly it was really flat.
I tried to do it was like 1 or 2 coats, but yeah, I'm not very savvy with that.
But it's like my buddy Cole. You met Cole when he was here?
Yeah.
He like caked it on, and I was like, bro, what are you doing?
Now, I'm not sure how many people are going to make it to the end of this video because we are a small channel, but if you did, I truly want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I hope it was entertaining, hopefully funny at some points, and I hope you learned a thing or two. But with all that said, we're just getting started. So join the movement by clicking the subscribe button down below and let's build something new together.
Yes, no, that and brushing their teeth and
Yes.
not in the kitchen.
Just actually having storage, I think.
True.
too.
Yes.
Like we didn't have any storage in here, so
Right.
I couldn't actually like keep any of their toothbrushes in here, toothpaste. So that's just, it's awesome.